recording on here. And I'm just going to switch on recording on the backup computer as well. Yeah, just a sec. Let's go turn the other computer on. That's working. Still turn my cell phone down just in case. Okay, right. Yeah, it's all working now. Okay, so. All right, so welcome to how to help others transmute their karma into the gifts of service. So I'm Nicolas, Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. It's a nice, small, intimate group tonight. There might be a few others joining us, but it could just be us. A lot of people are working. So I'm just here to share some, share about the soul contract reading work. Because these are just a couple of you, we can make it very customized depending on what you guys need. So I'd like to hear from you what brought you here and what you'd like from this. So we can pretty much do what you want with us. So you can brave enough to show yourself on the screen.
Jerry, would you like to go first?
Ladies first.
Okay.
I'm not here by accident. I found you a couple of years ago, and my journey had taken me to where I really was trying to figure out, in addition to my purpose, of course, what the karma is that I might be carrying from past lives and how to get rid of it, and what my real gifts and attributes are. I don't want to label myself as ADD, but I start areas of interest in learning, and then I go on to something else. I don't complete them. I guess I get what I need, and then I go somewhere else. But this particular area has really been important to me because I know that I do some past life work.
Yeah.
And I am holding space and getting mentally prepared for, I'm going to do a life between lives live session to make sure I'm on my right path. But I want to do as much learning and really have the understanding to where I can ask the right questions to get the results that are meant for me. I just want to be as prepared as I can. So you're part of my learning process.
Okay. All right. So how have you been exposed to the work so far? What have you seen or read, or have you got the book, or you've been watching Gaia, or a bit of both?
All of those. I also, in some of my other studies, ran across, I've had some work, not much, limited, with a gentleman by the name of Joseph Zatkiel.
Yeah.
We met at a Theo thing, and he was willing to work with me, but I didn't have the time. My life wasn't ready at that point. So I've come back to source, where I think it starts with you, and this is your work that I'm aware of. So.
Okay. What would you like from this April, from this webinar?
I would like to listen to how you work with and wanted to train people into your area of expertise to see if it's something for me as part of my journey, because I'm so interested in the work and how to understand and how to help people.
Okay.
That's what I can verbalize today.
Okay. That's really important. I understand that. So are you already working as a therapist, or? No. Okay.
I am recently retired.
Okay.
And from a legal career.
Right. Were you a lawyer, or?
My husband is. I ran his office for 20-something years.
Okay. I got a bit of background there. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can sort of give you an idea of what getting into this work means in terms of training and helping other people. So, okay, thank you. Okay, Jerry, what's brought you here?
Well, for me, as with her, I was introduced to your book quite a few years ago, actually, and I read through it, kind of went through it really quick.
Yeah.
I tried some of the information that was in there, And so it was really interesting to me. And I've kind of started on a metaphysical path for myself, trying to understand a lot of what's going on with us. So for me, I wasn't really prepared for this question. So I think it's just to learn more about probably myself more than anything before I could start helping others. And kind of, I can see myself helping others with some of the, as far as, how would you say it, things that they go through in life. Just based on reading and watching videos and reading, participating in groups and things like that. But overall, for me, I'm really nervous. So it's the first time ever participating in a webinar like this. So I'm just trying to soak this all in as we start here. But for me, also just to find out a little bit more about myself, as she said, to help others in that respect. Just trying to understand that part of it. The book was really, really interesting to me. It's kind of hard to explain to people what it's all about if they're not really within the or prepared or at that time in their life. So it just to understand this process a little bit more, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Okay. Thank you. So Jerry, what do you do at the moment? Are you working as a therapist, or are you doing some other job?
No, actually no. And that's where I think some of the inner calling is for me. I don't know if if I am really what I am. I work in retail, so I don't do anything along the lines of any of the therapist or any of that. But just, I guess I'm more of a learner, trying to learn as much as I can.
Okay.
And trying to find the correct path for me, I guess you might say.
Okay. So you figured out your chart though from the book.
I'm sorry?
You worked out your soul contract chart from the book?
Yes, I did. And again, it's been a while ago, and we've moved ever since then, and I can't find the book, but I know it's in storage somewhere because I wanted to reread it and look it over again. But I think one of the fastest books I've read. So it's very interesting.
People tend to read it quite quick once they get into it. Average read time is 24 to 72 hours.
Yeah, I find myself, it was hard to put down. Yeah.
Yeah. One person told me, I got it 4 o'clock in the afternoon in a New York bookstore, Nicolas, and I finished at 4 in the morning. So I couldn't put it down. I had to find out about my life. You see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was at the time when I read it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. It gives me a good feel, you guys. So, April, you figured out your chart as well. So
I did. One other thing that I have been trying, the reason I want to really figure out this is because I have embarked upon I have titled myself a life adventurist. Okay. And I am developing a way to be a philanthropist. Now that is not necessarily of money, but it's of my time and service. And I want everybody to live in joy. And so I want, if there's anything that's blocking me or keeping me from doing, expanding, and teaching others to live in the moment, that's how I want to utilize your work. And I was not able to fully implement the chart in my no, it's so key.
Yeah, can you repeat that? You broke up a little bit then. It went frozen. Just say the last sentence again. We lost you.
I know that your work in the chart holds some very big keys for me to figure out to go forward. I don't see them, even though some people might term them as problems or karma or whatever. I just want to grasp those little lessons, devour them, take what I need, and keep going. And so I just can't figure them all out. That's why I'm so interested.
Okay. You mean in terms of how to use the work to help others? That's the main issue. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that today. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about how this work started with me, and just to give a bit of background and how it got to where it is now, very briefly. Back in 1990, I arrived in the States for the first time. I was going to a workshop called the Carousel of Growth, run by Frank Alper, who was the founder of this work. And I walked into this hotel room or hotel meeting room in Phoenix, and I think it was a Holiday Inn or something. And I met all these people who seemed really familiar, even though I hadn't physically met them before in this life. And I came home to my spiritual family because how old was I? I was about 30 then. And I found my home, and I found my calling, which was this sort of work. And during that week-long workshop, I had a personal reading with Frank. It used to be called the Spiritual Numerology of Moses. And he took my birth certificate name and converted it to Hebrew sounds and extracted the Hebrew numbers out of it and put them on a Star of David. And he proceeded to explain my entire life in that hour, which was probably the most profound hour I've spent in my life up to that point. And part of that was telling me I was here to become a teacher and a healer. And I was blown away because he explained all the disparate, chaotic parts of my life because I couldn't make any sense of what was going on. I was very lost at that stage. And so I said to him, I need to learn how to do this. This is amazing. And he said, well, we're running another one. We're teaching this. This is the next level of workshop in 6 weeks' time. So I thought, okay, I'll stay in America a bit longer because I wasn't in a rush to come to England, which was where I was headed. So I stayed in America for another 6 weeks and traveled around and stayed with all the people I met in the class. So all over America. And then I came back 6 weeks later and learned how to do this work. And then I brought it to England and I started, I had a normal job at that stage. And I started giving little readings to people for probably about 4 years part-time. Then I started teaching this work when I learned enough about it. And then in 1997, I left the corporate world and I formed this business, which I've been running for the past 20 years, to actually raise consciousness here on Earth and work with thousands of people, trying to help them awaken to their true purpose here on Earth. And I discovered that my mission was to help the light workers manifest their mission by especially using this work to discover what is your real gift of service from the soul, not what you're told by the system you should be doing, but what is the deepest passion in the soul? What is that hidden thing that everyone is looking for and very few people find, to reveal that and to bring that little seed, grow it into a reality in someone's life so they can actually align with what they're here to really do in this life, which brings us to where we are now. So, and I had the idea for the book, Your Soul Contract Decode, for quite a few years. And then in 2012, the message from Spirit was you have to write the book. And all sorts of interesting things happened in terms of meeting the right people to help me structure the book and getting a publisher. And the book got published. It went to Amazon #1 in the first couple of weeks, actually. Once I did the show on Gaia, because they got hold of it. We did 5 shows with them. This one hasn't come out yet so far. And then it really took off. So life's completely changed, and a lot of people have gone through an awakening process reading the book. And so it's been a real privilege to be able to help people awaken with these sort of tools, because the point of the book was trying to reach a lot of people in a way that was accessible to them. So let's talk about how we can use this spiritual technology to help others. So I'm going to share the screen here now. So you guys are going to sort of go off to the right, and you can see little webcams on the right. Okay.
Will you excuse me? I've got to let my dogs in here real quick here.
Okay. All right. Why don't you just do that, and then I'll keep going, Jerry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So we're going to talk about how to help others transmute their karma into their gifts of service. So, as you would have read in the book, the paradox of life is that our karmic patterns, our biggest challenges that we face, actually contain our gift of service. And most people turn away from their karmic pattern or the big challenges, so they miss this gift here. And so what happens is that the law of attraction with our karma, okay, and plus the law of opposites, creates everything that we don't want in life initially. Does that sound familiar? You get a lot of stuff you don't like. It's in your face and you can't do anything about it. And the idea behind that is that it gets you really clear what you do want in life. And so when you get clear what you do want, because you're getting what you don't want initially, and you start trying to work towards that, then the soul's getting you to go in the right direction. So the idea here of karma is to turn into the karma, into the pain of the negative experience you're having, and then transmute it into the positive gift. For example, my karma in my chart is to feel unworthy to be loved. So I needed to turn into that and learn to love myself and become worthy to be loved. My other major karmic pattern in spiritual karma is being very disempowered. I had as a child, I had a very difficult childhood. But then the lesson of that was to learn to come into my power through clearing that pattern. And so the soul wants us to go on a journey of connecting with our karma and layer by layer, consciously feeling our way through it and transmuting it. And so my gifts of service that come out of that are a worthiness to teach, to express, communicate. I used to be very shy. And then to also come into my power so I can empower others on their path. So the soul contract work is about identifying what these patterns are, especially the karmic patterns, and then out of that will come the spiritual gift of service, which people would never look in the hardest places they face for the gift, but that's actually where it resides, which is why most people are very dissatisfied with life, because they've been avoiding the pain, because underneath that pain lies that gift of service. So this work is about turning the karma into our gift of service. So feel free to ask any questions as we go through. April.
I understand and agree with everything that you have said. And I have termed, for me, I call it 360 gratitude. It's a 300 where I can take my lesson, pull out what was it, and turn it into, thank you, that was the lesson, and get the gratitude for it and move it on. So for me, I call that my 360 gratitude. And I'm hoping that I'm ticking off these little karma boxes, like you're saying, and transmuting them, and I'm working to my verbally undefined gift. And because I know that I'm utilizing them, just because I can't put words on them doesn't mean that I'm not headed in the right direction. And so I do understand what you're saying about how the law of attraction, if I'm thinking I'm not worthy, then I'm going to continue to receive unworthiness. But I have to get to that, knowing that that's the obstacle. So I'm just
You have to say the last thing again, April, because it broke up a bit. Because I think your Wi-Fi is fluctuating. So just say the last sentence again, because we lost that last bit.
And you seem to be frozen. You're frozen.
Yeah. You just say the last thing again.
I'm not sure. I understand that we take all of those things and I want to tick them off like boxes and transmute those things that I learned and take the gratitude from them and go forward. And I think that's what we're doing. And if I can look at somebody's chart and say, here's your obstacles, and then listen to, but not tell them how to fix it, let them figure out how to fix it, then would I be doing your work?
Well, it's making them people conscious of what the karma is first and owning it, which is a big step. It's half the battle actually for a lot of people. A lot of people deny it, and then finding out how much they've progressed through it, and then giving them tools, which is what the work is about. We have lots of recommendations on how to work through specific karmic patterns, and choosing from the whole list of tools what will probably work best for that person, and then it's empowering them. So you're telling them, here's what the issue is, and here's how you work on it, and here's the gift that you actually get from it. So you hang the big carrot out. You know, my carrot was to feel worthy and to be empowered and not be in pain anymore, which has been most of my life. So I wanted to get on with it because, you know, most of us would never want to be younger again with a degree of emotional separation pattern we have to deal with. So I just wanted to create a better, happier, more fulfilled life for myself. And that's what you were actually going to help people do. Because most people are driving around in their life with no headlights on at night. No spiritual sat nav, which is what the soul contract work is about. They have nothing. There's no map, no nothing. They just keep hitting brick walls and things going astray. So we're basically giving them a map, a spiritual sat nav, to actually work out where they can go with the work. So here, so if you're wanting to step up and help others, which is what you guys are saying to me, you're the answer to this search to actually find the way, turn the lights on in the car, switch on the spiritual sat nav to find out, well, actually, where am I going? And it teaches you how to. Are you typing at April? Are you? Yeah, if you guys want to type, if you just go on mute, because otherwise we pick it up at this end, then just switch on the sound when you want to talk. Yeah, that's it. So basically, this work will enable you to decode the secrets of the blueprint for spiritual seekers, hidden within the sounds of their birth name, which, by the law of attraction, creates the reality in each moment. Okay. So when you understand what's creating a reality, then you can do something about demanifesting the stuff you don't like. But if you don't know what's going on in the first place, then we're sort of stuck, really. So with the soul contract reading work, this spiritual map of life empowers spiritual seekers, those who would come to see you, to overcome their karma, because they know what it is, and you help them, you give them the tools to overcome it, express more of their talents, achieve their goals, and overall manifest their life or soul purpose. And most people struggle through life and don't get very far because they have no idea what's actually going on, whereas you're going to switch the lights on and you're going to see everything that's going on. And so then they can focus 80% of their effort on the 20% of things that actually matter in life, rather than going around in circles. So what we do here is we analyze it on the Star of David, as you guys are familiar with. So April, are you okay if we do your chart briefly so we can show some of the others how it works? We'll just talk about it. Then you want to switch your sound on there. And this is the soul contract software. So if you want to give me your current name.
April, last name Polsto, and full name. That's it.
Yeah.
54. Date of birth is January.
No, we won't put it up there because it's a public video. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But what's your birth name? That's the one we want to put in here.
That's it.
No middle name?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do then. So this is a web-based software, soulcontractreader.com. For anyone else watching it, you can see it up here if you want to generate your own chart. You can generate 4 free charts with us. Okay, let's put this here. All right, so this is your chart, April. Does that look familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so for people watching this for the first time, I'll explain what happens here. Basically, we match April's birth certificate name with the sounds of ancient Hebrew. We use 22 ancient Hebrew sounds to match the 26 letters of the English alphabet. And in Hebrew, numbers and letters have the same sound and same symbol. So these are the Hebrew numbers inherent within the letters, okay, which is different from normal Pythagorean numerology. Then we use the Star of David to decode these Hebrew numbers. And the way the Star of David works is that we have a large downward pointing physical triangle, a large upward pointing spiritual triangle. And the physical triangle represents the creation of April Polston as a brand new personality expression of the soul who's not existed before. April's souls had different personalities in different previous lifetimes, but she as April Polston hasn't existed before. So April is an experiment in consciousness on the behalf of the soul. Okay. All right, so if you got a question, you just want to read the question out here, April, from the chat. And then we'll answer that as we go. Just unmute.
You want me to read that question?
Yeah, I want you to read the question because then people can hear it, everyone else can hear it. So
I would like to know if we could have cleared most of our karma from this learning and then still be lost about where we're headed and going.
If you've gotten to clearing your karma, then you tend to get clear on where you're going when you cleared enough karma. But when you haven't cleared much, you're usually pretty lost, don't have much idea what's going on. Okay, it's unlikely you clear your karma and have no idea what's happening because the soul will start to reveal to you the purpose of this life as you start to progress through the karma.
Okay.
Is that how you feel? You're still not clear where you're going?
I'm still not, well, of course I'm not completely clear where I'm going. However, when people talk about their limiting beliefs and their childhood trauma, I think I have addressed most of those, but the ones that I can't figure out are the ones that I'm hoping come forward in this type of work.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can answer some of them now. Okay. So this triangle here, the physical one, represents the formation of our personality expression and its interface with the physical world. Okay, it's like our operating system for this life. So the soul lives through us, lives through the personality. And then the upward pointing triangle represents the spiritual part of our life, which switches on later in life. And that's actually the real purpose for being here. So what happens is between the ages of up to about 35, the first 5 cycles of 7 years, the physical triangle is predominant. And between 35 and 42, the 6th cycle of life, the spiritual triangle becomes more predominant, or it might be earlier or later. So when did you have your spiritual awakening, April? When did you start to question everything about your life and look for a deeper purpose?
My spiritual quest began right around my early 20s, right about 21, 22, into always this type of work that's taken me 25 years to figure out what I'm doing. So that's when I really had a spiritual awakening.
Okay, so you had yours earlier, okay?
I did, but most of my work has been in the last, it's still been in the last 20, 25 years, but concentrated in the last 8.
Okay, so basically the spiritual triangle comes online and then the soul gets very restless. So it questions everything and life gets turned upside down. Some people call it the midlife crisis. Some buy a sports car, get a younger model of wife or husband or whatever. Things change, okay, because they're looking for the real deeper meaning, the hidden meaning I talked about at the beginning. And within each of these triangles, these 3 aspects. We have karma, talents, and goals. And karma is that set of unresolved past life issues that create the negative context of our life, all the hard stuff we don't like, but contains our spiritual gifts. Talents here are latent, but they actually will overcome the karma if they're a good match. the karma transmutes into something positive. The talents get stronger, and that helps us move to the physical goals here in this case. And this is in the physical world. At the same time, the spiritual triangle is running, and there's spiritual karma here, which is how we unlock our spiritual gifts to deliver to the world, and we unlock it by infusing the spiritual talents into there. As the talents get stronger, that moves us to the spiritual goals. So the energy moves from karma to talents to goals in the spiritual, and karma to talents to goals in the physical. So once you become consciously aware of it, or make someone consciously aware of it, if you learn how to do this work as a practitioner, someone has re-switched the lights on in life. They're consciously living their life, and they know what's creating each moment, because they're aware of all these things running, and they run simultaneously. So the soul is sort of like pushing all the buttons in the background, saying, okay, I want to have more of this running for the next few days, weeks, or months, or years. When that's done, I'll switch to this one here, although the emphasis shifts, but they're all running simultaneously. So that's why it's quite complex what's going on. But each of these here, if this is timed this way, and this is percentage complete, you actually work through each layer of this here, and what happens is that over time you work it through, and as you work each of these through consciously, you start to manifest the soul destiny or life purpose or soul purpose here. It starts to reveal itself. To answer your question, April, it's actually revealed in layers when you're ready. Revealed in layers. For example, my layers were, I have to leave New Zealand. I was 27, 26. I have to get out of this little country in the bottom of the world. I have to go and travel. My soul was driving me. Don't know why, just that I can't stay wearing a suit and doing this job. So I spent a year traveling around Asia wearing bright orange clothes and just being like a hippie basically, and having lots of experiences of Thai Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism, and living in Japan, living a completely different life. And then I got drawn to come to America for the first time to learn how to do this sort of work. And then I moved to England, which I've been here most of the time since. And so I did my corporate job for about 7 years, and then one day I woke up and can't do this anymore. It was my midlife crisis. I was 37. I was between the 35 and 42 years of age. So I left that job. I turned it into a part-time job and started doing this work. And then once this business was strong enough, I left the corporate job completely and do this work now. And then I didn't quite know what I was doing at that stage, but I sort of muddled through, just managed to stay solvent financially. And then the next phase came along because I was ready. I'd worked through enough of my issues here, and my spirit said, time to write a book. So I started writing the book, and then it was meant to be because the publisher rang me after 3 days and said, we want to publish it. When I submitted it, which is unheard of. It was that quick. As long as it took them to get the book, as soon as they saw it, they said, we've got to publish this thing. So, and then some of the contact in America introduced me to Gaia, to Regina Meredith, who's one of her best friends. And so it was networked out in America, and I ended up going to Boulder to film, and things really took up after that. A lot of radio shows in the book became a bestseller, and the work had a massive influence. So I had no idea when I left New Zealand I'd be doing any of this, but I just sort of followed my nose. And because I was aware what was in my contract for my reading with Frank in 1990, I just kept pursuing it because it showed in there I was going to be an author. It showed I was going to be a teacher. And now I run a global teaching business on Zoom. Don't actually see many people in person for classes because they're not even in England. They're everywhere: North America, Europe, Asia, South Africa, Australasia. They're all over the place. So I just sort of followed my nose with the contract, and it all sort of unfolded here. So for you, April, we take these numbers and we allocate them in a clockwise expanding spiral around the chart. And we keep going around the chart till we use them all up. This is for the benefit of some people hitting this cold for the first time who are watching the YouTube video. Then we add the numbers up. So in spiritual karma, the total of 17 plus 12 is 29. And because there's only 22 Hebrew numbers, you need to reduce this 29 to something between 1 and 22. So we simply go 2 plus 9 equals 11.
Mm-hmm.
Then we reduce it to once more. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. So on spiritual karma, there is the energy of a pure 11 and a pure 2 plus all the blends in between. The range of expression. And the soul of Moses, who channeled this work through Frank Alper over about 9 months in the 80s, gave specific meanings for each of these numbers, depending on the position here on the star. In the case of this physical karma, the total is 7. And because 7 is a single digit, 7 plus nothing is another 7. So we get a double number. So it's one particular energy here. Okay, so it's not a range of frequencies, it's one specific energy. So that's why some numbers are double numbers and some are combination ones. Just gonna have a little drink here. So what happens here is that we work out all the other numbers here, and then we take these physical numbers and put them on the top half of this table, spiritual numbers and put them on the bottom half. And we add them up to get the 67 and the 31. We've got to reduce these to a number between 1 and 22. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 3 plus 1 is 4, and that becomes the soul destiny that goes in the middle. So I'm doing this sort of at a very top level so we can get to what it means for you, April. And these little squiggly symbols were channeled by Frank are like portals that basically will tell me what I need to tell you. So in karma, April, what was your relationship like with your mother? Because he's saying there's an issue with the mother here.
I don't recall that she had a big presence in my life early. And then later in my life, I have determined that she was always there supporting, but she took a second role and just let me go and do, and she supported whichever direction I wanted to go. But she was always there watching out. So, but I think I hope it's been fixed. I feel like she's a really good friend now.
Yeah. So this is saying a disconnect from the mother when you were younger.
Yes.
To some degree. And this is saying a broken heart from that disconnection. And ego to let go.
Broken heart or her broken heart? My broken.
Could be both, but it's mainly yours initially. This is basically a broken heart here. Okay. So when you were younger, April, did you have difficulty making decisions?
Yes, and I still waffle on decisions. I'll second guess even if I get more information, or I'll give you an answer and then I'll change my mind. So
yeah, because the inner child has a broken heart here from childhood. The wounded, hidden part of you that's hiding away. But she puts out an outer smiley face facade out here, so everyone looks at this and not at the wounded part, which is scared of being rejected again or being seen as bad. This is often very pre-verbal, this sort of stuff, from a very young age. And the decision you have to make, the ultimate decision is, shall I show the true me or not? That's the source of the indecision.
Thank you.
Okay, so your job is to heal the wounded inner child, drop the facade, show your true self to the world, become one person, merge the two halves here. And when you have a fully healed heart, which I'm sure you've been working on, then the heart will open and will magnetize all the people you're here to work with. Okay, because then you'll be showing your authentic self. So showing your true self is the key, warts and all, and learning that when you show your true self, what happens then is that because you're authentic and running at a very high level of consciousness, everyone else opens their heart and shows their true self. And you're here to magnetize like-minded people into groups. You're actually here to work with groups of people, building networks. Okay, this is actually saying in this chart here, you're here to build a center, to hold groups of people together to share knowledge from the feminine heart. That's actually what you're here to do. How does that sound? Some idea.
Boy, I'd like to hear that again because you tripped me up because it felt so good.
So I say it again.
All right. Well, here's what I heard. I heard that I'm here to work with groups to share my knowledge to somehow motivate, magnetize them to what?
You're here to, with an open heart, create groups of people, like-minded people in a teaching space, because the 19 is about creating spiritual space, out of physical space, out of spiritual energy. So they can come into that space, and with the one, you disseminate healing and knowledge into that space with an open, loving, unconditional heart of the divine feminine. That's what you're here to do.
Clear as mud. Got it.
How's that sound?
Oh, I've just, like I said, clear as mud. I love that I have a direction now. Okay.
Yeah. And the 8s here, this energy is all about doing it with very clear emotional boundaries and being very present and grounded in your body and connecting with people, reaching out with your right hand to connect with everyone emotionally.
Okay. The question I have is, that's a worthy goal for me to, it says, to reach out and touch base with everyone.
Yep.
However, they're not lasting relationships.
Yeah, what happens?
Yeah. So I find that they're either their energy's too low or they're not where I am in their learning, or I'm speaking a foreign language when I'm talking about love and light and openness and law of attraction and karma. And so I just turn the corner and go on down the road. How do I do I just continue to reach out?
The key here is to heal the heart here, to heal the wounded heart. Because when you heal the wounded heart, then you'll energetically be seen, and you will magnetize those who are at the right level of consciousness already to hear what you have to say. Up to that point, you're still invisible, so people can't find you. Your people can't find you fully yet.
Because I'm still dealing with my inner child wounded heart.
Yeah, because your inner child's still hiding away because she's scared of being rejected.
May I ask a question?
Go for it, Jerry.
When you mention your people, is it the people in the soul group, or what do you mean by that?
People who are like April, who are spiritual seekers, who are at the same level of consciousness, but need some of her help to awaken. Okay. So people who are open to spiritual concepts and ideas.
Correct.
Not everyone is. So
correct. And that's, yeah, exactly. And that's what I run across too. Okay.
Yeah, because there's certain people, things people want to, people are ready. A certain level of consciousness you have to reach, and a certain level of evolution you have to get to before you can open to these ideas. Up to that point, you're just getting on with life unconsciously. Probably not very happily either, but you don't know anything else. You see, you're asleep in the matrix, basically. So you need to be working with people who are ready to wake up. See, April, or already awake and want some answers. That goes for you as well, Jerry.
Yeah, and I pick up on that now more and more. Whereas before I didn't understand that, but I do feel that now with certain folks, with certain. I've always had a big issue with calling people friends. I've always looked at them as acquaintances.
Yeah.
And so for me, a true friend is far and few between.
Well, you got to find someone on the same level of consciousness, you see, and that's not always easy. So.
Correct.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find a diagram about this. Hang on. Explain this to you guys. Where is it?
I think there's something in there with me that of the attachment also with the word of friend.
Okay, so it's got a little meshed up, this diagram, but let me just see again. Okay. So there's a book called Power versus Force by a man called David Hawkins. He was enlightened, and there's a scale of consciousness on this book. Have either of you heard of that book?
That sounds familiar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't hear you, April.
Familiar, but I'm not on my bookshelf.
Yeah. So basically, this is a logarithmic scale from 0 to 1,000. Okay, I had to import this into Google Docs because my PowerPoint played up. But basically, these are all the negative emotions like anger, desire, grief, apathy, etc. down the bottom. At 200, you cross into integrity, means you do what you say you would do. Below this, you're not speaking the truth because you're unable to.
Mm.
And above this, you have these things like 500 to love, 540 is unconditional love, 700 to 1,000 is enlightenment. And so what happens is that for you to relate to people as light workers, you're probably somewhere up around here. You're going to move up and down on the scale up here, because most people are somewhere down here. If you have an overlap of consciousness like this with someone, you can relate to them.
Mm.
But if they are down here and you're up here, there's nothing to connect you. There's no overlap. Therefore, there's no spiritual glue to hold you together, no matter what you do. Okay, so that's the reason you cannot relate to some people, because they're not conscious enough. And it's not their fault, it's not bad, it's just the way it is on Earth. There's different levels of learning, and your perception of life is different at each of these levels. So your job is to maximize your consciousness, but then relate to the people who have an overlap in consciousness with you, in terms of the people you awaken, or even as friends as well, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to look for conscious people to work with who are a similar level of consciousness, then you'll have something in common with them. Okay. And so April, as you open your heart, you're going to attract people who are like you, who are more conscious. Otherwise, you're probably attracting these guys who aren't quite so conscious, where they don't get it, because there's no overlap here. Okay. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So back to the chart. So here, the other thing you have to do, April, is do you procrastinate, April?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So the 18 here is about you coming from many different lifetimes of experience. You've got to make a choice to follow the path of spirit or God or not.
Mm.
Follow the path of the ego or follow the path of God in the spiritual sense. It's the 18. And the 9 is this dragon. It's about learning to come into your power, overcome the resistance of the ego, to fully unleashing the soul's power, so you can make this decision to follow the path of God. So this is saying you're here to be learn to be a project manager and complete things. Okay.
Let me see if I heard that.
Yeah.
My current will is in conflict with my path, which is God's will, and that's the one that I need to be on. And right now it's up and down until I make the choice to be over on God's spiritual path.
You've got to unleash your dragon inside and trust the flow of the power of the dragon in you. And so trust what feels right first, which is following the path of spirit or God. This is in a spiritual sense. We're not talking about the Christian God here or any other religious God.
Right.
Okay. So, and not follow the path of the ego, because that leads to disaster, as you both probably know. Doesn't work very well. Okay.
Okay.
That's your job. And once you can do that, this means you're here to take on big projects in life, make the hard decisions, complete them, and carry them through to the end.
Where does the fear of success come in?
It probably comes here because it's about not being worthy to. The 4 here is about learning to be worthy to receive the flow of nature, of God's abundance.
And that's
Okay.
a continual ongoing process right now. So that's what that is.
That's what this does, you see.
Mm.
So when you feel worthy to receive it, then you'll be happy to be successful. At the moment, part of your ego may not feel worthy enough to receive the success, so therefore there's a fear of it all coming to you.
So I still have to identify that dragon, which could also be the same inner child wounded heart.
The dragon probably calls the wounded heart. Something disempowered you when you were a kid, which broke the heart here. Okay.
Okay.
See, so the key number to work on is 9 coming into your power here. So whatever they call trauma or disempowerment was, you've got to work on that, then that'll unlock the wounded heart, and that'll help heal the heart, and you feel worthy to be loved, which means you'll be worthy to be successful. The 11-2 here is about, have you felt lost in life, April?
Yes.
Yeah, this is about learning a structure of truth. You've got to take all these influences and find your own unique structure of truth. And then learn emotional resiliency, which is a spring, to share that truth in the world. Okay, so it's about building your own body of knowledge. And when you build that body of knowledge, you're here to share it with this for sharing knowledge with an open heart. Okay, so your job is to heal your heart, or heal the disempowerment here from childhood, which will heal your heart, make you feel worthy to be loved, move you out of the shock here, because this spring can get squashed down. So it's all sort of squashed like that by the trauma of life. Clear the trauma, and the spring moves up and down, so you have a resiliency. And then create a space. I think your project is to build a space for this to come into some sort of center of space you're here to build or work with. To heal people through sharing from the divine feminine open heart. So you feel what comes out of the feminine heart, share it, and as you do that, you have no attachment to what it will do, but if you follow the heart, life will open and flow. Okay? So it's to move from upping up here to feeling in the heart what is the next right action, and doing it in a very grounded way, putting it out in the world, and then trusting it will come to pass. How does that sound as a life?
It sounds great, and I like it, and I really appreciate the reinforcement of the things that I have picked up along the way, that I am seeing, that I have learned, and you have helped pull some things out today that has given me hope. And especially, I thought I had handled all the wounded heart, inner child things, and I was hoping to find out something, and you have given me that gift. Thank you.
Well, there are many layers of it. You probably handled quite a bit already. You have plenty of time, but there are always finer layers of this. And so the idea is to get through the final layers, because that then unleashes more of the soul's potential, the more clearer your ego is. There's always something to work on.
Oh, yes.
Being human. Okay. So there's your life, and there's a very short summary of your life, all the important things. Okay. Okay. That's how the system works. So how do we help others with this process? Here's how we do it. So what this does is that as a therapist, counselor, coach, consultant, or training workshop facilitator, it gives you this immediate spiritual map of someone's life. So you have a profound understanding of the issues they face. I mean, we only just met April. I know more about you than your mum does, probably, because just looking at that chart. Okay. And that would allow, by learning this, you would then be able to accurately guide people who come to you throughout all their work they had to do with you, because you've got this underlying map of absolute truth of what's going on. When people hear this absolute truth, their ego surrenders, it lets go, because it can't hide anything anymore, because the truth is at a much higher level of consciousness than where the ego is. So that then builds trust between you and your clients, because they know April or Jerry knows exactly what they're talking about. I can't pretend anymore, so I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to get really real here and get on with it.
It breaks the walls down.
It breaks the walls down, because the ego cannot hide from pure truth, which is what this is about. So you get really good results with people, because they will engage, because they with nothing to do but engage with this truth, because it's so strong. I can't deny this anymore. Okay, so it's very powerful as a tool for helping people. And then the training itself is basically where, well, the book you have is based upon the training, partially, the training manual, but turn into a form which is appropriate for a book. But basically, you'll learn a structure of how to understand yourself and everyone else in your life. So what we do in the training is that we spend the first 3 days, which is 5 days, we take your friends and family and we give readings on them to teach you how all the 22 numbers work in all the positions, all the 7 positions. So I spend 3 days transmitting to you the energy to awaken it in you. So it's not about memorizing or learning the book or the manual. It's about becoming it. So we activate it in your DNA and your energy field. And because we're talking about your mom and dad and your kids or siblings and friends, it's really real for you. And so then as we're talking about each student's friends and family, and they're talking about the subjective real world expression of the numbers, everyone gets it, the reality of it. So after 3 days, you are becoming the work. And you have a very good understanding of the numbers because it's actually activated in you. And so then what we do in the last 2 days is we teach you how to actually deliver readings to each other in the class. And we teach you how to decode the numbers as well, just like we showed there, how to do all the calculations. We do it by hand initially, but after that, everyone uses the software. We show you how to hold the energy, emotional space to deliver this high level of truth to someone in a manageable, sustainable way so they can awaken to the truth of their life. And we show you how to use the recommendations which are in the manual, they're also in the book, to actually pinpoint what exactly does that person need to take their next step. So you take someone from wherever they are, however stuck they are, however much pain they're in, or they may be really done a lot of work already, and we show them the next steps in a structured way so they can move forward, so they can just cut out all the distraction and get on with what's really important in life and start to align themselves to where the soul really wants them to go, their soul destiny, and to discover that hidden thing they've been searching for their whole life, which is basically their gift of service, which is hidden in their karma. So basically you can completely change someone's life in that 1 hour or more permanently. That's what we teach you how to do in 5 days on the training. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
And people sort of think, my God, there's so much information here, but usually from the first practice reading, everyone's pretty good because I've activated it in you in the first 3 days. And you'd be surprised what will come out of your mouth. And you suddenly realize, I can actually do this. That's the way it works. April.
So I heard, let's go right to your 5 days of training. And for both Jerry and I, if we choose to do this, of course, it would be on Zoom.
Yeah.
And with the time difference and everything, how would that work?
We start at 12:30 UK time, which is 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And then we run to 8:30 UK time, which is 3:30 Eastern and 2:30 Central. That's how we do it. So we split it into 2 weekends, people who work, because there are a lot of Californian clients. Can you do it over the weekend, Nicolas? So because we can't have that much time off work, so we'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday first. That'll be 22 to 24 February. In a 2-week gap, so you've got time to integrate the meaning of it. And the last 2 days will be on the 9th and 10th of March, where you'll practice giving readings. Well, I'm training you, and then you'll get practice on giving readings. Okay, so basically it's 2 weekends plus 1 Friday. So it'll be like 7:30 to 3:30 for you, April, and 6:30 to 2:30 for you, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
It's reasonably civilized, and you can do it just from where you are at home. Don't have to go anywhere.
Well, of course, the next question is, were those 2 consecutive weekends, or was there a weekend in between them?
There's a weekend in between. It's a 2-week gap.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to, whenever you get to the end, we're going to ask about money and I don't have a question. Never mind. Okay. I'll keep talking about the course a bit more. Okay. So then we'll get to money and things like that, the exchange. So basically, as I said, you'll learn experientially through complete immersion in the charts of friends and family. You'll receive this bodily transmission of the work, which activates it in the DNA, because it's already in you. I'm awakening it in you.
And then we support you afterwards with a Facebook group and masterclasses for any development questions you have as a practitioner. There's hundreds of practitioners in the world, a couple hundred practitioners now, and most people participate in these groups. And so you can ask, it's peer-to-peer support, so they will support you. I'll be there as well, but the experienced practitioners will support you in any questions you have to get underway. We have support calls and stuff like that, about a month after course as well. Okay, so the Facebook group is pretty active actually. So you can ask any question you like and someone will help you out there. And if they don't answer the question, I will eventually when I get a chance. So what happens to the people who are going to come to you? Well, this is what happens to them when they receive a reading. They're going to feel a feeling of deep peace when they hear the truth of their life read so profoundly and accurately, usually for the first time. A feeling of relief. And these are all the things I have when Frank gave me my reading. A feeling of relief to know there's actually an order and meaning to the disparate experiences they have in their life. Like their life wasn't some bad accident. Okay. Enabling those who feel like victims of life to move out of this place to take charge and step forward to living their true purpose. I felt like a victim of life most of the time, so that helped me do that. So how does that sound as a gift you can give people in 1 hour?
I know a few that could use it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what your customer will get. So what happens really, these are the sort of summary of things that happen here, is that you show them how far they've got through their spiritual map of life through the contract. Because you don't know where they are until you actually sit down and talk to them. Okay? All right. And there's only so much you can do with a book. But actually, in-person contact is actually the best way to discover how much of each of the 7 aspects someone's worked through. And based upon where you find out where they are, we train you to give them recommendations how to overcome the challenge that they face and manifest more of their dreams. A lot of people give up on their dreams because the karma stops them dead. I'm not one of them. I've actually had some pretty incredible things happen as a result of working on myself consciously for such a long time. So I'm very lucky, actually. You can give that to other people as well, and yourself. If you work at it and focus. And you can help people align to their soul life purpose and begin to manifest it. And that is where people feel this great sense of joy. I mean, I finished the level 3 training of this work yesterday, and I said to a close friend of mine, I said, I feel totally high as a result because I was doing this. I was totally aligned to my life purpose, helping these people out. I was teaching my practitioners to help others create the right names for businesses, their businesses and other businesses, to manifest their purpose. And so it was an amazing 4 days. So I was doing this. I was in total alignment. And you'll touch people's inner being immediately because of the truth. This great trust is built. And they will go a lot deeper with you as that trust builds. You open to a deeper level of yourself the more you share this. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, and it's never boring because every child is different. Every human being that I touch and help awaken and get on their path, move out of pain into love, into alignment. It just makes my day, really, because they're going to make a difference. You guys, if you come on the course, will make a difference in helping a lot of other people. Okay. And so, yeah, you'll be preparing and giving readings in the group. So you can deliver readings straight after the workshop. It's important to practice as much as possible, especially in the first month, to embed it. But you've got to study and work at it. The main thing is to just practice preparing and delivering them, not try and learn the manual. Not because you're 11 to, in your case, you're trying to figure out the structure and learn it all before you do anything. This work is just about doing it, because it's a transmission. It's not like learning at school, trying to memorize anything. It's becoming it. You become it by doing it. And you'll be amazed at how much you actually retained, because it's actually in you. So the bit you asked about here, these are the times, the dates here, 22nd to 24th of February, 9th and 10th of March. These are the times. So this is for you, April. This is for you, Jerry. To reserve your place, you can go to subcontractreadingtraining.com. The deposit is about $300 US or £229, depending on the exchange rate. We're trying to leave the European Union, so it's fluctuating a lot at the moment. And the total fee, the total fee is £616 or $800. Okay, so this here is you pay this first and then you pay the balance, so it'll be about $300 plus another $500 to make it up to this. And so you get this amazing tool over those 5 days, which will really kickstart an alternative therapy business, and you're going to wake up a lot of people and help them live a lot, more fulfilled lives, manifesting the gift of service, whereas they could have just ended up staying stuck. So how does that feel, guys?
I think I can commit. I just got to tell everybody I'm committing.
Yeah.
So.
I think for me, well, unfortunately, my work schedule, I got to look into that first of all, because I have a very fluctuating schedule with what I do.
Understood.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, definitely interested. It's just for me, I would definitely have to set some time aside with them, but for sure, I'd have to look into that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have a look into it. If you need to be there, you'll be there, and
correct.
You can earn a reasonable living off this as you help people, which pays yourself reasonably quickly as well. So, but we talk about how to run the business a little bit for this as well, and a little bit about marketing when we do this. But it's a very satisfying thing. I started doing this full time about 22 years ago, just this in London, and it was lovely just helping people all the time, especially people who are very stuck, to actually move forward, to actually get a grip on their lives and transform them. And I still find it one of the most satisfying things to do, to actually share this work with them.
Do you have other courses available throughout the year, or is this just a one-time for this year, or how does that work for you?
We run this one twice a year.
Okay.
So this new weekend format, I'm just trying out now to see how people respond to that. But normally it's 5 consecutive days in a row. Because my teaching schedule is busy, it's very difficult to split a course into 2, but I managed to do it once at the beginning of the year. Yeah. So yeah, we run the level 1 twice a year.
Okay.
So we have enough people. So the next one probably won't be till sometime in autumn. I haven't actually worked out the final date yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Autumn, more or less in the October, November area?
Yeah, probably somewhere October, November before we run another one. Yeah, but it will be 5 days, so it'll be like a Wednesday to a Sunday or something like that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So we split it because the moms in California said we can come if you can do it on the weekend. That's what they basically said to me. So I said,
yeah, and unfortunately, my job requires the weekends, so that's what's tough here. So I'd have to schedule it and find somebody or somebody to cover or something.
Have a look into it, see what you can manage.
Sure.
You need to be here, you'll be here.
Correct.
April, do you have any other questions? You have to unmute.
I don't think I have any questions. I think where I am in my process, this is right for me. And so I will, and the timing works for me. And I'm here today for a reason. So you'll see my information come across in a day or two, probably.
Okay. And we look forward to working with you and maybe with you as well, Jerry. So.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much. And thanks to everyone who's watching this later. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.